And Colac District Football League, we haven't had a look for a few weeks with the downtime, but last weekend we did actually get some action on the field at last, although it's short-lived. As with all other Victorian competitions, the lockdown is going to put paid to round 17 action. There is 18 rounds in the Colac District, so as what they've done previously, they've just basically, if they haven't been able to play that round, they have said it's a forfeited round. That just forfeits out completely from their competition, and so only they count the rounds which are played, and ultimately with two more rounds, well, we may be forfeiting out round 17 this weekend and then round 18 for the following weekend, depending on whether or not there'll be a no crowd situation or what the changing circumstances if the lockdown comes out and so on. But we can only comment on what we have, and that is round 16 action from last weekend. South beat Colac Imperials 13-8-86 to 5-6-36 in the Colac Derby. A good win by South. They're having a good season, and at the top they're looking very strong. Lynch with 7 for them, McKay 2 for Colac Imperials. Travascus was good for the Imperials, and Hay and Simpkin played pretty well for South. Other matches, Lawn 17-10 beat the Otway Districts 1-4. Poor at Otway Districts have really struggled at Gellibrand, but it was pretty cold and wet there too, I can tell you that, for the locals. Lawn had to King with 3, and Hargraves kicked the only goal for Otway. Coots, Rippon and Royce were good for Otway, whilst Turner and Balderas played well for the Dolphins. It was a day for swimming Dolphins, that is for sure. And what about Birregurra? 16-16, beating the Western Eagles 7-3. The Eagles are one of the lower sides again this year, but a good win there by Birregurra. Allen with 7 and Roworth with 3. And Rowan and Stevenson were the better players. And Kingwell with 5 of the 7 goals for the Eagles. And Kenny and Hunt and Lenehan were the better players for them on the day. And finally, the other matches, it was a great performance by Otway, finishing Simpson's season 9-6-60 to Simpson 5-7-37. Great effort from the Hawks there, with Zaparenkov with 3 and Lawson 3. Karras, King and Cornish, their better players. Barry, Drayton and Anderson played well for Simpson, just single goal kickers for them. And it was a pretty good performance there. In the end, Birregurra, I should say Illawarra and Alvey both had buys for the round, and so that leaves the premiership table something like this. The ladder showing at the top of the table, Alvey, they're on 44 from their 11 games. South are on 40 from their 11. So everyone's now played 11, which kind of makes it interesting that they're equalled that all out with those 2 buys for the weekend. And so it means South in second with 40, and then 34 is Illawarra. They're a game and a half clear of Colac. So those are your top 3. Colac Imperials 28, Apollo Bay 24, Birregurra 22, Lawn 20. So if we can get another round of football in, it would mean that Lawn, with their percentage, if they were to get a win, could get up into 5th place and displace Apollo Bay. Birregurra, likewise, if they got a win, would be able to do that. Now, that's the situation from a premiership table point of view. From the fixture point of view, well, round 17 is not going ahead this weekend, and interestingly enough, Birregurra would play Apollo Bay, which would have been an absolute match of the season to see who made the top 5, while on the other games, Lawn would have played Simpson and would have had a chance of a win there too, given Simpson's position lower on the table. So you can see how interesting this would have been for those 3 sides looking at that final 5th place on the table. If that was abandoned, that round, then round 18 is Apollo Bay playing Lawn. Again, the same scenario. And interestingly enough, the other game that is of interest there would be the game that would see the Birregurra take on South. So Birregurra would be out of the contest in that context, but Lawn and Apollo Bay could play off for 5th place on the ladder. It would be a mini-final round 18. So not knowing where they're going to go in terms of if both games are lost, if that is the end of the season, if we go straight to the finals matches, if we lose the next 2 weeks, then in Colac District, and we went straight to finals, then the table would be set where it is. But if we get another round of football, round 17 or round 18, depending on which one was played, or if it was just either or, then that would create a really interesting finish to the season in Colac District.